Tonight on Dynamite, coming off of Kenny Omega's big title win last week, we had a big celebration for him, which obviously got slightly derailed, plus 2 title matches, Kyle Fletcher versus Commander for the AEW International Championship, which was a banger, and Copeland Cage defended the tag titles against Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia of the Death Riders. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yes, boy!
French Toast is the exchange student that you have like a 3-week affair with.
Hey, we can see that you don't have pants on.
Somebody hit somebody with a pie. Do something.
Giovanni yelling we're out of time as we go off the air.
Giovanni yelling a lot of things tonight.
And welcome to the Mark It Down podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Mark It Down podcast. My name is Nick Cummings, joined this week by James Casanti, back here once again to review another episode of AEW Dynamite. James is still living off the high of last week and winning the title. So let's dive straight into his championship celebration that took place in the middle of the show. Actually, quite literally at the middle of the show. It was the top of the 9 o'clock hour. So after a video package recapping Kenny's win last week and a commercial break, we had Tony Schiavone in the ring where he introduced the new AEW Men's World Champion. And Kenny comes out.
Nice. So nice to hear.
Still wearing the Triple B. And then Tony hands the mic to Kenny, and he kind of gives a point to the Jumbotron where the Young Bucks come out carrying a bag. I wonder what could be in there. So Matt Jackson starts things off. He says that they know Kenny has a lot to say, so they'll make it quick. And Matt says that they've been best friends in the business for 20 years. And last week, they watched Kenny win the championship all by himself and prove he is still the best professional wrestler on the planet. But Kenny, wearing that specific belt, skews him. So they got him something, and Nick reveals that in the bag is the OG AEW Men's World Championship belt. So they take the Triple B, put the original title around Kenny's waist. And
do you like the Triple B?
It works very well for Max.
Yeah.
It's a pretty decent looking belt, all things considered. Burberry isn't my favorite, but again, it works for MJF.
Yeah.
But the black strap is
so much nicer. Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, Kenny then gets the mic and he says it's been over 1,000 days since he's last held the title. So long that he can't even quote the real number. So long that he wasn't sure he was ever going to hold it again. And he finishes that sentence, and then I think some pyro went off or something. And Kenny's just like, yeah, F it, why not? And Excalibur and Taz lost their shit on commentary.
I couldn't tell what was happening, but I knew something happened. Obviously, Kenny reacted, and then I saw Excalibur and Taz just like in the back, just absolutely flailing.
I think it was pyro. It sounded like a large bang. So either somebody dropped something, or again, like some leftover pyro went off, probably from Kenny's entrance. Whatever it was, they all got a really, really good kick out of it. Anyway, Kenny then gets back on topic and says that the difference maker wasn't himself believing in him or his best friends believing in him, but it was a combination of his friends, his family, and his extended AEW family, the fans, believing in him. He says if the fans don't believe in him, this never would have happened, and trust him, it was never supposed to happen. So now he's got 50 days until Wembley, and while he might not be 100% ready now, he'll be ready then, and we will see the best version of Kenny Omega we have ever seen in AEW. All right, before we do move on to the next points, I know there's a bunch of people in here, and I've got to say hi to them. So we want to say hello to Maria.
What up?
It was a very fun night of wrestling. I thought it was indeed. Derek, good evening to you as well. We say hello to You Know It. Good to have all of you people in here. All right, back to the promo at hand. Once Kenny finishes staying up his piece, Will Ospreay's music hits, and then he comes down, and he first addresses the Bucks. He's like, hey, Bucks, we're happy to see you guys landed on your feet after I took your work. Do you mind if me and Kenny have a minute alone together? And the Bucks oblige, and they leave. So Ospreay then addresses Kenny and starts by saying how good Kenny looks with the AEW World Championship. And even though he thought Kenny had given up on himself at one point, because it didn't really much matter how much Will or the people believed in Kenny. Kenny had to believe in himself in order to win. And then Will was there front and center watching Kenny scrap and claw for 25 minutes in all of that heat. And then Kenny got hit with the title, and Will thought it was over. But then Kenny kicked out at one, that cheeky slag. So to Will, that means the cleaner, the best bout machine, is back. And so Will, before things heat up between the two of them as they get closer to Wembley, he wants to thank Kenny for being his hero for all those years. He got to watch Kenny in the Tokyo Dome. I think they even got to wrestle in the Tokyo Dome. They faced off Wembley before. And he says when he thinks of AEW, he thinks of Kenny Omega. But Will isn't happy being second. Kenny says he shouldn't be. So the two of them are going to keep going every week all the way up until Wembley to show why they're in the position that they're in. And then Will compares them to real-life Goku versus Vegeta fighting.
I popped.
Out. So in August at Wembley, they're going to show everyone why this is where the best wrestle. So, James, we're going to stop here so we can talk about this portion of the promo because it was fairly lengthy with everything that happened. I don't want to say a lot of moving parts, but just a lot was said. And I thought, the Bucks coming out and congratulating Kenny and giving him the original title was great. And then everything Will said here, I thought was said perfectly by him.
No, I loved all of this. One, very happy to have Kenny, get his flowers, have his moment. Babyface Kenny. Although that's something apparently not everyone believes in, as was sort of teased a little bit later in the show. But so happy to have babyface Kenny having this moment. The Bucks being there felt right. It's weird, like they're acknowledging Kenny and the Bucks very clearly, but it's also like they're trying to intentionally separate him from the Bucks too. Like they don't want the elite package. They want Kenny, who happens to be friends with the Bucks right now.
Right.
And it would have, I think they could have just stayed there. I get why they did it, because it would have taken away from what came next. But I think just from a story standpoint, I don't know why they needed to leave. So really nice to have that moment. Really nice to have him get the black belts. Really nice to have just everyone happy. The Will stuff of this, man, I made it clear here on the pod. I've been saying it for a little while. I kind of was on the fence about Kenny taking the title off of MJF because, one, I do think the good guy versus the bad guy in the main event of All In does the storytelling for you. Like, it does all the heavy lifting for you. But it's also, for this to be really satisfying, Will needs to beat Kenny at All In. That's just how it needs to be.
Yeah.
He needs to have his coronation in Wembley Stadium. I get that. But man, it's going to be tough to see Kenny just let go of the title like that. And I think they're going to play on that a little bit. I have it in my head. We're going to get some weird shenanigan booking for the main event of All In.
Really?
That's what in my head, I think we're getting WrestleMania 17, The Rock versus Austin, where Will is Austin and Moxley is Vince McMahon. So it created a hell of a moment, but oh boy, was that scary. I really enjoyed all of this. Obviously, I popped for the Goku Vegeta thing, because that's what these guys are to me. This is the Red Ranger and the Green Ranger. This is Goku and Vegeta. This is Superman and Shazam. Like, these two guys are so... You thought I was going to say Batman. These are two guys that are so similar, yet are so uniquely different from one another, too. They're parallels to one another. They are, they're their counterparts. And they're the two best, but they each have their own path and they each have their own way of doing things. So I think this is really cool. I'm so hyped for this. I thought Will just sounded great. Yeah. But there is a level of, why did Will need to do this now? Why did Will need to come out and interrupt Kenny's celebration? He could have had this. But I'm not. Look, I am of the belief personally, I think Will's going to turn heel at some point. Maybe he doesn't do it in the main event of All In. Maybe he doesn't even do it on the way to All In. Maybe it's something that happens after he wins the title. But I am of the belief it's going to happen. And I think little things like this are peppered in, that he's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, a little bit of aggression in him. And based off of what Mock said to him earlier in the night about doing what you need to do, I think there is a level of, I'm going to get in his head. So I loved all of this. I think they were great. I think both guys were good. I love that Kenny, you could see there was a look on his face of, why is he here? Like, he's not mad because he cares about Will, but he wasn't happy when Will's music hit. He was happy when the Bucks music hit.
He was a lot happy. Yeah, I was gonna say, well, he was a lot happier than the Bucks when Ospreay's music hit. The Bucks were very, very. I don't know what the word is, but they weren't thrilled to see him. You know, like they were kind of just like, "Hey, Will." Like, it was really awkward for them, obviously, considering their past and the tag match they had at Wembley, or at All In at least. I don't know if it was Wembley, but it was at All In. So you consider that, and then if you want to throw on top of there, why is Will coming out? Whether you think he's interrupting or attempting to join the celebration, I guess is a point of perspective there. But Kenny, he didn't look unhappy to see Will, but about a bit of a quizzical look at the least.
I'd say so too. So I thought this was a really good interaction. I think for the most part, we're going to be getting Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar, like interactions for the next few weeks. I think it's going to be these two guys who have a mutual respect but are trying to one-up one another. So I think that's what we're going to get. And, if they do push-up challenges or milk chugging challenges, all the better. And we know Kenny's down for a milk chug. So we'll see. But I thought this was really fun.
Yeah. Okay, so that's all of that. And the two seem to be in a pretty good spot as they're finishing up. But then Kevin Knight's music hits, and he comes down to the ring. And he says he doesn't mean to break up this brotherly love fest, but the two champs have some talking to do, and he dismisses Ospreay. And Ospreay, he kind of gets, jokingly sheepish, and he starts to go towards the corner, and he's like, do I leave? Do I not? And Kenny's like, no. Will stays. So Will just kind of hangs out in the corner.
He's like, oh boy, do I?
Yeah, as Knight and Omega go back and forth. So Knight says that he understands that Kenny and Will are looking forward to Wembley, but they shouldn't get ahead of themselves because he's still owed a title shot courtesy of Maxwell Jacob Fraudman. And since Max isn't here to collect, it looks like Kenny is going to have to step up. And while Kenny might be the god of professional wrestling, what is a god to a non-believer? And kids, it's a good line.
It's a great line.
But it's a Frank Ocean line. I just want to throw that out there. Anyway, Knight then challenges Kenny to a title match at Redemption. Kenny responds by asking Knight to back up a few steps for him before saying that what Knight brought up was pretty interesting.
It's also, by the way, that's also like a Jay-Z Kanye West line too.
So it's No Church in the Wild. It's Jay-Z, Kanye West. It's on the Watch the Throne album, but it's the hook that Frank Ocean sings.
Yeah,
you're welcome. Okay, so the interesting thing about Knight calling in this challenge is that this is a promise made by MJF, and now Kevin is expecting Kenny to hold up Max's word, and Kenny's like, "No, we're not going to do that." But maybe Kenny will give Knight a title shot because he's a nice guy. More importantly, though, he says he's going to give Knight a title shot because he saw a lot in Knight the first time he ever saw him. He saw somebody who had somebody who looked the part, could jump higher, run faster than anybody. But most importantly, what he saw at night that night was hungrier than anybody else. And then he had to go with something stupid like join Don Callis. Kenny says he knows that he would be a hypocrite if he didn't say he had also fallen for the siren song of Don Callis. And it was Don who helped him win the AEW title for the first time. And he says he remembers that after party, but it was, coronavirus time, and nobody showed up. But even if it wasn't coronavirus time, nobody would have showed up for that guy anyway because he didn't deserve it. And that was the day, Kenny says, his worth fell into the toilet. So Kenny's wondering why Knight joined up with Don when it's Kenny who believes in him, along with guys like Speedball Mike Bailey and Will Ospreay over there. And Kenny says he doesn't need to be Don Callis' lapdog because he knows the fans believe in him as well. Because he could have been TNT champion, or heck, he could even go on to become the AEW World Champion without Don. And then he goes on to say what you will about Maxwell Jacob Fraudman, and just like me, Kenny had a weird time saying Maxwell.
He said it the same way every time, and it was never Maxwell.
It sounded like
Maxwell.
It sounded like, or Maxwell, like, isn't that Matt Hardy's kid?
It is, and I don't know what it was. He said it like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
To the point that I don't know if he was doing it on purpose, like, or he fucked up the first time and was like, I'm just gonna stick with it every time. It was
either it's a John Moxley Wolf's Wolves situation, or he just they just say it really weird in Canada, or at least his part of Canada, Winnipeg.
I feel like he said Maxwell before. I feel like I've heard this man say Max's name before. I don't know.
It was a weird one.
No, it was weird. It was funny. It was silly, but it was so subtly funny and so subtly weird.
Yeah. But as I was saying, Kenny was actually trying to give credit to this man because he said Max came out and defended the title every week and for once actually did what he said, which, I mean, that's giving Max a lot of credit, but he wasn't entirely wrong there. So it seems to Kenny that the only fraud here is Knight, who comes out here and spews this bullshit when Kenny thinks there's a lot more good in him than he's currently pretending there is. So if Kenny's going to face him at Redemption, he wants to face Kevin the Jet Knight, not Kevin Don Callis' lapdog bitch Knight. Kevin responds that Omega made some good points about how he got to this point in his career by himself. But the one place where Kenny was wrong was that there isn't any good left in his heart, only greatness.
All right, that was a great line. That was a good line.
Yes. And then Knight flips the microphone around and cheap shots Kenny in the head with it, knocking him down. Ospreay comes exploding out of the corner with the hidden blade, but Knight is able to duck it and retreats to the relative safety of the ramp. However, when he does so, Will just laughs and points, and the camera cuts, and it's Darby Allin jumping on Kevin Knight's back and starting to beat him up. But that doesn't last long, though, as Brian Cage comes out. He's Darby's opponent tonight. Cage comes out and just picks Darby up and just decks him. And Darby pretty much is just on the side of the ramp for the rest of it. A big chunk of the Don Callis family then comes spilling out. Hi, hate to say it, welcome back to the States. Roppongi Vice tries to go into the ring first, but they each get taken out by Ospreay and Kenny. But then it's left with a 4-on-2 situation. I think it was Hechicero, Cage, Doyle, and Knight against Kenny and Ospreay. And that would have been a really good time to have the Bucks, but they already got sent to the back. Instead, the music of the Death Riders hits, and out comes Moxley and Claudio, and they get into the ring, and they stand literally, honestly, in between Ospreay and the Don Callis family. Kenny's kind of in a what the fuck situation because he doesn't know if he's going to get his ass beaten or not. So he kind of backs up while still facing the Don Callis family. And then with that, just a big standoff, but the DCF kind of just slowly backs away. And we cut to a backstage promo. So great stuff out of Knight here, James. We just said everybody in this entire promo, as long as it was very, very good. Yes. Knight got some great lines off. He did crib one, but that's still cool. It worked well in this situation. But I thought he was great. I thought Kenny came back with a lot of good stuff, and then Knight closed strong, and then you had it was a small brawl.
This was a fantastic way to end the segment. Kevin sounding week in, week out better on the mic. Like, I know we were busted chops about that one line, but it was a great line.
Yeah. It was a great use of a line. Yeah, like, it's still a reference. Exactly. It's half of what I do on the show.
Exactly. We're just a bunch of thieves here, guys.
Referencing.
Homage. Yes. Yeah. I thought he killed it. Kenny, I love that I'm not doing this because of Max. I'm doing this because of me. Still, like, being the babyface who's not going to back down from a challenge, but not honoring the heel who came before him and the shenanigans that came before him. So I like that a lot. I like that he said how Speedball believes in him. He believes in him. Even Ospreay is someone that you could believe him. And I really appreciate that. It's like, yes, man, we all see how good you are. You proved how good you are. You don't need Don. And the truth is, he won the TNT title before Don. So everything he's accomplished isn't because of Don. It's because of him. And I think that's a really great way of circling this issue and circling everything going on with Knight. So I think Kenny did great there too. It's weird because I feel bad saying it. This feels like a main event to Dynamite and not a redemption or a pay-per-view main event. Like, if this is going to be Kenny's only successful pay-per-view defense, because I'm under the impression he's dropping it to Will.
Yeah.
I feel like there could have been a bigger match out there, but I also get that we don't have a lot of time to book this match. So I guess then you do it with someone like Kevin Knight, like he doesn't get a month-long build. He gets a couple weeks, if that. And for that, I understand, but it would have been nice if Kenny had a higher profile match at the pay-per-view, at least in my opinion.
Yes and no. I think you're putting Knight in a great spot here. They very clearly are high on him, and they've put him in some very big situations before. So putting him in a spot like this, I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. They've done it with other guys.
It's better for Knight than it is for Kenny, is what I'm saying.
Exactly. And yeah. I wouldn't be overly surprised if Kenny picked him.
I wouldn't be either. A lot of tonight's show felt like we were watching guys from the past taking on guys of the future.
Yeah.
So, and even the setups are obviously feel that way too. But so I'm not complaining on that issue, but it would have, I don't know, as a Kenny fan, I would have liked, wow, okay, maybe Kenny gets his win back against Okada or, something like of that nature. But I get it though. I do get it.
I saw somebody say that as well. Like, I can't wait till the coin drop during this, during this promo tonight. And the next comment was just like, yeah, but you really doing that on a pay-per-view that literally just became a thing?
Like, I mean, Great Balls of Fire had Samoa Joe versus Brock Lesnar.
That's fair.
But more than anything, I mean, and I will say, even in a less joking way, like, if you are trying to establish a new pay-per-view, you do go with a big match. Like, for all the shit we gave WrestlePalooza and how bad it was, they really were trying to make that a big event, which is why they had Lesnar versus Cena. It backfired spectacularly, but I can't blame them for setting up the biggest match that they could at that moment.
I guess. I will say, though, Great Balls of Fire, as cool as Joe Lesnar looks to us, I truly do feel like WWE didn't give a shit about that match, and then Joe just made it awesome because it's Samoa fucking Joe. But
I was being facetious about Great Balls of Fire.
Fair.
But the WrestlePalooza one is definitely more accurate.
I still, even outside, I don't remember the card, but I do remember Great Balls of Fire fondly. Like, that ended up being a really good pay-per-view.
I really only remember Joe and Brock, but if you told me the card, I'd be like, oh shit, yeah, that was on the show.
Yeah, I remember it being, the rest of it being good.
And it never happened again.
Yeah, and it led to you look at me when I'm talking to you the next night on Raw. Yeah. So but, yeah, I don't know. I like this Kenny Knight thing. I don't blame you for wanting it maybe on Dynamite. but I don't know. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head, like who else is in the title scene right now that you would want to challenge Kenny and lose?
No, for sure. It's tough. It's very, very tough.
Yeah, because I know like everyone's always saying like, oh, I want to go for the title, and like there was a whole bunch of that stuff, but a lot of those guys just lost to Darby.
I'll be honest. If it wasn't for the international title of it all, I would have loved if it was Fletcher.
Yeah,
that would have been like everybody benefits in this one, in my opinion. Like it's going to be a great match. Not that I don't think Kenny versus Kevin isn't going to be a great match, but like Fletcher is just on another level lately. He's like hit an extra gear.
Yeah, we saw that tonight.
And he's definitely higher profile than Knight is right now. And it would get a world title match under his belt. It would get a pay-per-view match under his belt before he eventually wins it. We know he's going to win it sooner than later. But yeah, look, I don't want to nitpick that. I know I spent a little bit of time on it, but it's still going to be a fun match. It was just a minor thing of I didn't need it to be a pay-per-view main event. But all that said, really, really enjoyed it. The back and forth was great. And the stuff with the Death Riders, man, I mean, like, there's no pretense. Ospreay is a Death Rider now. He just is. So it's interesting to see how Kenny, who has the history with Jon Moxley, how that impacts him and how that impacts everyone around him. And let's be honest, it's not like the Bucks don't have a history with Moxley too. The Elite, like their version of the Elite, was happily working with the Death Riders. So there's a lot of strings being pulled on this drama.
Yeah, which is why it makes it so good. Like, I know a lot of people are like, why is Will with the Death Riders? It makes no sense. I don't know, like, whether or not it makes sense, we're here.
Yeah.
And there are so many background things in terms of relationships and side characters to just, obviously Will and Kenny there, that it creates this amazing web of interactions.
Absolutely. And that's what we've been complimenting AEW for years now.
Yeah.
They've managed to create such a rich tapestry of their main event scene, or quite frankly, all of their storytelling, where one thread could lead you to so many different people. One focal point has so many threads attached to it.
Yeah, and they do a great job at remembering histories with each other and stuff. They don't just throw things away because, we're faces now, so we're friends.
Yep.
No, like, you were an asshole to me a couple of years ago. Why am I just going to be friends with you now? We saw it at the top of the show and over the last couple of weeks with Christian and Jay White.
Yep.
Like, they have beef. There's a good reason that Christian doesn't trust him. So, yeah, Tony and whoever else is helping him write and stuff, doing a great job with that. The other thing I think we really have to cover with the whole Kenny thing was there was a backstage interview with him later in the show. So Renee's backstage with Kenny, I think coming out of commercial, or actually right before, and she asked him about it, being him versus Knight at Redemption. And Kenny's like, look, there are no shortage of challengers in AEW. So maybe it's the big old bump on his head talking, but he still sees a little bit of himself and a little bit of good and Knight, which is why he wants to face him. But Kenny then gets interrupted by Darby, who comes over and says that Kenny doesn't understand Kevin's not going to change overnight. He needs to be physically humbled. So next week he's going to do just that and take the TNT title from him. So Darby asks, is Kenny going to waste his time or is he going to beat it out of him? And Kenny's kind of looks at him. He's like, I'm going to leave it to you, Darby. All right, I'll leave it to you. Darby walks away and tells Kenny to go on and keep on wasting his time.
Yep.
As Moxley turns back around, as Kenny turns back around, spoiler alert, Jon Moxley appears. And he slowly walks over and he's like, Darby's right. Some people are what they are and they can't pretend to be anything else, even if they try. And then Moxley ominously backs up slowly and Kenny's just kind of left there to shake his head and then walk away himself.
So obviously this was Moxley in a very meta way, acknowledging the Raw segment of Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, how no matter who you pretend to be, you're still members of the Shield who haven't moved on. Obviously, that's the interpretation that the internet should go with here.
Sure.
No, it's interesting. The implication being Mox still sees Kenny as the heel who screwed him out of the world title all that time ago.
He sees him as a lot of things. I mean, not just that enemy, but the enemy all the way back from the beginning of AEW. The Double or Nothing.
But see, here's the fun part about that. The crowd obviously sided with Moxley. He's the asshole who came in and attacked Kenny.
Yeah.
Kenny was not the heel in that situation.
Yeah, Moxley mostly was, but he wasn't a heel just because the crowd refused to boo him.
Yeah. That's absolutely it. And it's fine. I've come to terms with that. I've made my peace with the fact that Kenny was wrongly booed or wrongly
was he booed that much?
He was unsupported. He was
okay.
unsupported.
Yeah, all right.
The majority of the support went to Mox. It was more like we're giving 60% of our cheers to Mox and we're giving 40% of our cheers to Kenny. Alas, we move on, we deal with it, and we stuff it down until we explode. But Mox shot the first shot. That's all I'm going to say here.
Well, you're right. I also think Moxley, while it looks on the outside that he's really talking about Kenny, he could partially be maybe talking about himself, but maybe Ospreay as well in a subtle way. So, layers. There are layers. Yeah. Wrestling is like ogres.
I mean, hey, Shrek won that battle royal.
Very true. Yeah, Tombstone is illegal too.
Yep.
All right, a lot of comments you guys had, so let me scroll back up here. Yep. I know there's a lot of different subjects that came up, so we'll start with Derek. He's really sad Claudio's not in the trios match next week with Moxley and Ospreay against Hechicero, Doyle, and Cage. He wanted Doyle to square off against Claudio. I do as well now.
Who is the third man on that?
On which side? It's Hechicero, Doyle, and Cage against Mox, Ospreay, and and Kenny.
Oh, it is Kenny. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
Let's see. You know what Sam was going on. He accidentally left a comment on something else. He doesn't know, but enjoy it. Thanks. We'll find it later. What about Kenny 2 belts?
Yes. Okay.
Make Knight put the TNT title up if he escapes Darby next week.
You know what? Sometimes we all get a little crazy. We all say some silly things when we're in the pod and we're in the chat. But you know what? That hit. You got me where I live. You got me right here.
Belt collector.
Oh yeah, we're back, baby.
What if it's Kenny who turns? It's possible.
It is possible. The only reason I don't think it would work is because whoever's turning has to be the one to win. And I fundamentally think, babyface or heel, Will Ospreay needs to walk out of Wembley as champion.
Yeah.
And I think doing that as a heel is a mistake, but doing that even as a heel, the crowd is still absolutely going to cheer him. So you don't want to take that moment away. You don't want to ruin that moment.
Now that I'm thinking about it, it doesn't necessarily have to be like full-blown heel turn, but just full conversion to Death Rider, and then you could decide whether or not that's heel. Because the Death Riders in their totality are really tweener right now because of Mox, mostly.
All right. Yeah,
because of Mox. The rest of them are pretty much just heels. Wheeler and Garcia are heels. Claudio is a heel. Pac is obviously a heel. Marina gets face pops because she beats up dudes all the time.
Yes,
but Mox
she's the heel we love.
Yeah. Now Mox is tweener, but that might just be because he was just luring Ospreay in.
Yeah.
So, like I said, because of that, you can have Will go full Death Rider and practically kill Kenny to win, and that could be your quote-unquote heel turn. But again, I think it would be kind of left up to you to decide whether or not doing what you have to do to finish the job constitutes a heel turn or constitutes doing what you got to do to win.
He stabs Kenny in the heart because that's the only way Kenny will lose. I just did what I had to. I just needed to do what I needed to do here.
Go get a screwdriver back. Maria's saying she's very happy to be getting back the Painmaker.
I'm shocked that we had multiple people in this chat say nice things about the Painmaker.
Oh, it's saying normally the Painmaker gets a good cheer, but not tonight so much.
Later.
Tonight so much. I don't know. I think he usually gets a mixed thing. Like some people are like, oh, like it's nice to see this back. And then everyone else is like, yeah, but what is the difference between...
I'm going to tell you right now. I have been accepting to enjoying pretty much anything Chris Jericho's ever done. Even if I don't love it, I accept it. Like the learning tree, I had its moments with me.
Yeah, I thought the learning tree was underrated.
Yes. The Painmaker. That's where I tap out. And I thought I was not alone in that. I didn't think I'm the odd man out here.
Well, it kind of worked in Japan,
we have
right?
another person. Fernando. We have we have Maria. We have Fernando. What? Am I wrong? Is it me?
Maybe. It worked in Japan, right? So I don't know. Maybe that's why some people love it. I've always been kind of on it. I just think he needs to probably do more hardcore stuff with it for it to kind of make more sense. And they didn't seem to skip the match, at least tonight, for Redemption, which we'll talk about later. But Derek's bringing a good point, though. They were in Boston, which is Ciampa's hometown. So Jericho not getting a big pop there makes sense. They were chomping at the bit for Ciampa, no pun intended.
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense. Good point, though. In Montreal, Jericho will get a massive pop. See, speaking of Boston, saying Kenny maybe temporarily picked up a Boston accent, and that's why he couldn't say Maxwell properly.
They don't say much right over there.
Yeah. What I was saying? He's feeling like Claudio and Pac should move on from the Death Riders just so we can see them wrestle a little bit more consistently.
I agree. Claudio shouldn't be part of the Death Riders anymore. He should be... What should he be? What should they set?
The Bar. Sorry, I was reading more comments.
Okay. I set it up so beautifully, and you let me down there. But it's okay.
Derek's also saying he wouldn't mind seeing Finley, Connors, and Claudio as a trio against White, Juice, and Ace Austin on Collision. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get that this week. We'll probably get it soon.
Yeah, some version of it. Yeah,
because we got something similar last week. I know there was more people involved. Like it was 4-on-4, but I wouldn't be too worried. You're gonna get more Bang Bang Gang and Death Rider / the Dogs matches coming up.
I cannot tell you how sick to my stomach it makes me that there is any sort of connection between David Finlay and Will Ospreay. It just feels wrong.
See, Terrence also pointing out we didn't see Pac and Marina tonight. Marina rarely misses a Dynamite or Collision. Yeah, so
that was very true.
She's fine.
It could have been just one of those things that it's like, do you really need to fly her out to do a 2-minute, not even like a 30-second, like I'm showing up? Like I can't blame someone for not doing that.
Yeah, I mean Roddy was there, but
they do have a child together.
Yeah, I was gonna say they got a kid, right? One of them being hanging around if they're not doing much makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Derek's catching us up on the CML Grand Prix. We got Tohi, Pac, Claudio, Blake Christian, Roderick Strong, Leon Cage, Arns, and of course Austin Aries, because why not?
Big 2026. Austin Aries finally found somewhere to work.
Yeah. It's saying I disagree that Claudio, Pac, and Marina are tween. Yeah, no, I kind of walked that back a little. It's mostly just Moxley that's a tweener. And then I think kind of when everyone's hanging around Will, they act nice. And then they go out and beat the shit out of people and blindside them and stuff. So it's a weird dynamic. Fernando believes that turning Kenny heel will join the Death Riders full. Oh, turn Kenny heel will join the Death Riders fully is a terrible idea.
I think either of them turning heel is a weird move. Let me just preface that. It's not like me protecting Kenny. But Kenny had such a long heel run that fans were clamoring for the babyface turn, especially after being sick and being gone for so long. Fans wanted babyface Kenny and a successful babyface Kenny. I'm not saying he can't turn heel, but I think you're fighting, like you're swimming upstream here. You're fighting against the tide. You're fighting against the current. I wouldn't do it. And I'd say the same applies to Will. Will is beloved. I wouldn't turn him heel either. But at least the story, in a way, at least makes sense at this moment that Will turning heel, like, is the direction things are. Like, that makes more sense with how the winds are blowing.
Yeah. I think we've talked about this before. I think on a long enough timeline, almost anyone will probably turn heel. But
yeah, unless you're Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, assuming they tried that once, but they turned it back.
WCW doesn't count. WCW doesn't count.
Post-mask WCW doesn't count. I like the idea more of Will winning the title and then slowly turning heel as he does whatever he has to keep it. I think that's the better play. Like, slow playing out the heel turn as opposed to, like you said, going full WrestleMania 17 with it, I think makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Let's see. Maria agrees that Claudio should go solo again. I would just like to see him wrestle. I don't know what's up with him. Or
he's doing a lot in CMLL right now.
Okay. So they're just kind of giving him time off.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And Derek, thank you for joining us as always. We'll see you next week, man.
Later, pal. Thank you.
All right, let's head back to the top of the show. We still can't talk about any wrestling because we have Death Riders promo first. So Ospreay is working out. He's just working on some ground and pound, and as he's doing that, Daniel Garcia is behind him, yelling about how joining the Death Riders means the work is just beginning, and he urges Ospreay to continue to work on his ground and pound until somebody calls for time. And it will just basically collapses. And Moxley walks in, and he's like, it's game time, and he hypes up Yuta and Garcia for their tag title match coming up, saying he doesn't care what Hall of Fame those guys are in, referring to Cope and Cage. He tells the two of those guys not to let Cope and Cage off the hook. And then they leave along with Claudio to go get ready for the match, as Moxley tells the boys to work harder for them. Then Mox leans down next to Ospreay, who tells him that most of the hard work is done, as he's won the tournament and his neck is now healthy. But these next steps are the most critical because one mistake can cost you everything. And Moxley goes on to say that people make things so complicated. They get all the way to the end, they can see the finish line, and then they start to sweat, and they panic, and then they hesitate. And Mox tells Will that he's earned this, and while there will come a time in his life where he'll have to make some hard decisions, this is a simple decision for Will. He needs to take his shot and to not hesitate. Pull the trigger no matter who the target is. Mox gets up, he walks away, and Ospreay gets back up, and he goes back to practicing his ground and pound. So good. It was a good setup for what happened later with Will and Kenny, but that target line seems like it's set up for not just the coming weeks, but especially at Wembley.
Yeah.
All right. Following that, we get to a match finally. We had Cope and Cage defending their AEW World Tag Team Championships against the aforementioned Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia. You get to the end here after the Death Riders were beating down Cage in the corner with their they don't have a name for that thing yet, right? Kind of like a train, but whatever.
Yeah.
And the two get together, celebrate a bit, and then decide that Wheeler should go attempt to rip off the opposite turnbuckle, which Cage had actually attempted to rip off earlier, while Garcia goes after Cage. So Yuta is just easily caught by Bryce Remsburg because they didn't even attempt to hide what they're doing. And that distraction allows for Cage to get out of the corner and kick Garcia square in the dick. Yuta turns around to see Garcia just stumbling out of the ring, and in his, panic, just charges wildly at Cage. And Cage pops him up and right into the awaiting arms of Cope, who had gotten back in the ring, and Copeland spears Yuta and pins him to retain the titles. And after the match, Claudio and the dogs came out to jump Cope and Cage, and they laid in a solid beatdown till the Bang Bang game came out for the save. So it was Juice, Ace, and the Guns leading the charge, taking it to the Death Riders and the dogs. But Finlay was able to separate himself and line Christian up for a shot with the Shillelagh. However, Switchblade Jay White came out, and he took the Shillelagh from Finlay, and then you gave him one of these, and Finlay's just like, oh shit, and just jumped out of the ring.
All right, I got to pause for a second. The way Finlay sold the fear of the Shillelagh was insane. It was Shawn Michaels selling for Hulk Hogan, and it was so funny here. It was, I mean, granted, it was funny when Shawn did it to Hogan too, but it was so over the top and so silly. But he made that look like, oh, if you get hit with this fucking thing, you're gonna hate it. You're gonna hate, like, you're going down if you get hit by the Shillelagh. Brilliant, beautiful way of making me fear that weapon.
I live in Woodlawn. I do fear it.
I've never encountered a Shillelagh in real life.
No, but they don't really. They're not too much of a thing anymore, as far as I'm aware.
I would imagine.
I'll check my Irish sources, but I don't think there's that much of a thing. Hey, David. Anyway, Christian then comes to, and he gets up to see Switchblade holding the Shillelagh in the middle of the ring, and he's not standing over Christian, but, you know, it looks, Christian takes it that Switch is going to attack him with it. So he gets up, and he's like, what the hell? And he starts to step to White to go to defend himself, but luckily Cope gets up and gets in between the two and calms things down, with White handing the Shillelagh off to Copeland as, you know, kind of a show of good faith. Like, look, I'm not here to attack you. I was here to get the dogs. I was here to get the Death Riders. And as the rest of the Bang Bang gang gets back into the ring, Cope thanks all of them, and Jay's kind of like saying down, guys, like, we're all good. And then Copeland goes over to Christian. He's like, all right, come on, let's go, dude. Like, I understand you don't like these guys. Come on, get out of here.
Admittedly, I don't know if I misread it, but it did look like Christian was sort of giving the nod to White there at the end.
A little bit more, yeah, a little bit of begrudging thanks.
Yeah,
from Christian,
which is progress for him.
Yes,
that's huge progress.
It's more than he gives most anybody. But the match, James, it was a good match. You know, I think you kind of mentioned earlier that a good chunk of tonight was like younger guys going up against the old guard. This was a good example of that.
Yes, absolutely.
Old guard wins because the younger guys, you know, try to take a shortcut and they don't know all those wily vet moves. And so the match was good. I enjoyed the beatdown and stuff afterwards. Just for like you said, the stuff with White and Finlay there was really, really funny. But just, you know, good job continuing this whole storyline with the Death Riders, the dogs, the Bang Bang gang, and Cope and Cage.
It's a really interesting story path because inherently, I love White. You love White. We love Jay. We love the Bang Bang gang.
King Switch, future world champ.
Absolutely. But there is an aspect of it that is just, I'm inherently trained to believe that Jay White is going to be a bad guy and he's going to be a heel and he's going to turn on someone.
Yes.
And him, like, if the long game here is the Guns win the tag titles off of Cope and Christian, I don't know where I land. But, and I like the Guns a lot, but those belts are earmarked for a day, whether it's new or old, I don't know. But those belts are earmarked for other teams right now.
Not the Bucks, because I did forget to mention that after the match, they did show the Bucks watching Cope and Cage up in the stands.
Yes. So All In is really shaping up to be a spectacular card.
Assuming everything we think is going to happen happens, yes, it is.
Like, I can think of 4 matches off the top of my head, and all of them are exciting. But, yeah, this worked for me. Nice dynamic between these two teams. Obviously, the young kids had energy for days. The old men were doing their best to breathe, but they did great. I will never make fun of Cope and Christian. I love those two so much, and I think they're having a great run here. And there is a real question for me. I know there's a lot of rumors about if this is Cope's last year. There's a lot of speculation that he's retiring at the end of this year. Jay feels like he could be the guy to do it. Jay becoming the new ultimate opportunist, like that's a torch that I could see being passed down from Cope to Jay.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Jay White, to be specific. I just want to make that clear.
Who knows? Wait,
Christian's real name is Jay.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. That said, who knows? Maybe it'll be Sheamus who does it. He was Cope's last match in WWE. He'll be his last match forever too. We'll see.
It'd be funny. They'll just retire together.
Yep.
Let's see. Fernando saying in the comments he does not like the Christian and Jay White story. It's only been going on for 2 weeks now, right?
Yeah.
Like at least this new version of it. So I would, as I always do, I would suggest giving it a little bit of time. But I am enjoying how much the Death Riders are doing in terms of they're involved with the dogs and the Bang Bang Gang and this story with also, Edge and Christian, or Cope and Cage, full force of habit. But then at the same time, they're also involved in the main event scene with, Mox and, Ospreay and now Kenny and the Bucks and whatever. So, and the Bucks are involved in this as well. We mentioned it before, but the web is so great and grand, and there's so many branches going off around each other. It's wonderful. It's saying, when do we start singing Metalingus? I must have missed something. Grand Slam Australia.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Yeah.
That's when it started.
Yeah. I love it. It's becoming it feels a little grandiose every week, but it's awesome. Like, who am I to say no? Like, it's the same thing with Judas.
Yeah.
Like when you're watching it on TV, it's like, okay, we get it. But I'm never gonna if I'm in the crowd, I'm obviously gonna do it.
Oh yeah, we belted out fucking Metalingus when we saw them at Double or Nothing. So, and that opened the show.
Yeah.
And that also set the tone for how my voice was going to be walking out of that. The answer was not good. Maria saying Sheamus should join the Dogs and be a mentor to Finlay.
I wouldn't hate it. My only thing is it needs to be Finlay's group. It's David Finlay and his dogs. That's how it was in Bullet Club, and I understand it's different here. I understand it's more of a group here. But it needs to, he is the guy. If you're not going to push it as Gabe Kidd, it needs to be him.
Yeah.
So having Sheamus come in kind of derails him a little bit, because I'm inherently just going to look to Sheamus as the leader. But I'm not opposed to... The Dogs need to recruit. I think that goes without saying.
Yeah.
Gabe Kidd needs to come back, and I think they need to get a fourth.
Yeah, and who knows when Gabe Kidd's going to get back, because Shota just got a concussion, and he's knocked out of the G1.
Is he really?
Yeah, you didn't see that today? Yeah, he got a concussion against, of all people, Zack Sabre Jr. And he's out of the G1.
Oh,
so which means they're going to have to delay any sort of payoff between Gabe and Shota.
That's nuts.
Yeah, so hopefully Shooter, gets well soon, and but.
Oh man, if you listen really carefully, if you just listen really carefully, you could hear millions of Japanese fans cheering right now because Yuya Uemura's chances just skyrocketed. Wow. Oh my God, my bracket just changed.
Well, everyone's bracket just changed because they're not even replacing him. They're just automatic 2 points. Yeah, at least that's what I read from the New Japan website.
Do they not have fucking people?
Okay. I think Sheamus coming over still kind of works, where if he does join up with the Death Riders and they run with the Bar, it's very clear Claudio is working with Finlay and the Dogs right now. So Sheamus can still work with Finlay, mentor him. They can have interactions, conversations without actually him being a part of the Dogs. So I think, that's probably the best of both worlds. And it's got a good point. He's too pale. Definitely too pale. Okay, following that, I forgot to put a banner for it, but there was a quick Collision recap, and I only bring this up because somehow James and I forgot to talk about the Sheeta thing last week, where she introduced her new title.
Yeah.
And yes, the Best is Sheeta Championship. Hype for that. I think that's the name of her new submission as well. and then she used that to not only beat Harley last week to defend her title, but apparently put Harley out of action indefinitely.
Yeah.
And then Queen Aminata came out and made the save, and she's going to get a title shot on Collision. And then we had Mark Davis defending his national championship against Speedball Mike Bailey, and he did that with a little bit of help from his friends. That led into, naturally, Andrade El Ídolo. So we had a quick video package of him and a very beautiful woman. And then we went to him and Renee backstage. And Renee asked him about his upcoming match with Jake Doyle, considering that there's a potential national title shot. And Andrade says if he has to fight every member of the Don Callis family and take all their titles, then he will, because he is a future world champion and he's going to get his shot. And Renee replies that there's a lot of members of the Don Callis family and asks if he's worried about that. Andrade responds, that is a bueno segundo. Yeah, I think that's it. But tranquila, because he has this, and he pulls out a box. And Renee's like, what's that? And he opens it up to reveal MJF's Dynamite diamond ring. And Renee is like, how'd you get that? Andrade's just like, I have a really good friend. Renee goes, is that really good friend Will Ospreay? And Andrade laughs and kind of leans in, and he just goes, how'd you know?
No, I thought he said how he know.
Oh, whatever. I thought he just hit her with the regular item. But somebody else with this Dynamite diamond ring and actually being willing to use it's going to be fun.
I think the biggest mistake that they made was that the Dynamite diamond ring, there were just multiple of them.
Yeah.
That was the biggest mistake. It should have always been the one ring.
To rule them all.
One, thank you. Two, to just be a prize to hold on to. Because when Bandito won it, and then MJF still had a fucking ring to use, what was the point? It just became a number one contenders thing.
Yeah, it also just kind of was booked in a weird spot, the whole ring thing, because I remember we talked about it when it happened. How many times was MJF going to win the ring over and over and over again?
I agree with you, but one, on some level, it's a crutch. It's absolutely a crutch for him that he uses it for these matches. It's like, I get it. I grew up with William Regal and the Brass Knucks.
Yeah,
I get it. But even
or
Regal,
or Dave Finlay Sr. and the Shillelagh.
Exactly. But I also know that I remember Regal figuring out other ways to cheat to win. So I think it would be a really captivating story of MJF losing the ring. Even if it's for a year, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This is one of 10 rings, I think. I know it's not 10, but like this is one of 5 rings?
Well, I think it's like every year since the start of the show, or maybe the second year of the show. So
at this point, Andrade is going to
there's 5 or 6 of them running around.
Andrade is going to try punching him with one, and MJF is going to counter him with the fucking Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm surprised he hasn't.
Yeah,
I've also,
give it time.
Speaking of Regal, I'm slightly surprised in order to just maybe get him away from that. Regal did give MJF the brass knuckles all those years ago when he helped them defeat Moxley. So you could have transitioned to that. But I think it was still the point where MJF continuing to have the Dynamite Diamond ring was such a big thing for him. It was such a big part of his character that it made sense for him to continue to have it.
And I get that, but I think we're at a point where there is an interesting story of him not having it. I think it's been long enough that you could tell that story now.
Well, he doesn't have it right now. I mean, unless you're like
he doesn't have this one right now.
Yeah, he just pulls another one in. But
to give you perspective, the last winner wasn't even MJF; it was Bandito.
Yeah, and he doesn't. We never even see him wear it.
So this is just an old ring.
Yep, it's probably from 2 years ago. Yeah, the booking of it is kind of weird, but it is what it is. It's just gonna be funny to see Andrade have it. Yeah. We're bringing up some more examples. Jim Duggan in the 2x4, Junkyard Dog with the chain, Cowboy Bob Orton in the cast, forever long he had that cast.
Yeah.
Hogan and the NWO. Like, yeah, there's a lot of crutches.
Hogan and Eric Bischoff.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. After this interview, we came back from commercial with another one as Renee was backstage with the conglomeration. So she started by saying that the trios titles are firmly in their hands, but there seem to be a lot of trios who would love to challenge them. Kyle's like, well, where are they? And then Orange goes full fourth wall break and goes,
yep.
This would be the perfect time for somebody to come up and challenge, and here they are. And the demand comes rolling up.
Before we get into it, tell me a conversation between Kevin Owens and Orange Cassidy wouldn't be the most spectacular, like, deconstruction of professional wrestling ever. Oh, it'd be great. It'd be great.
I know he wasn't doing it for too long, but Orange was doing Orange on the indies for a little while. I wonder if that was post Steen. I have to imagine, but
yeah,
because he was Fire Ant before that, and that was probably when they were both still on the independents together.
Yeah, no, it had to be post.
Yeah. So as the demand walks up, Ricochet tells them all to calm down. They're not here to fight. Nobody in the demand is going to put a finger on you, which is lucky for you because I would love to beat your ass and shut you up. Because Ricochet says he had heard them running their mouths, so he wanted to come over and shut them up as soon as possible. Bishop Khan then jumps in to say that conglomeration are doing the titles and the division a disservice by having the titles in their backpacks when they should be around the waist of greatness. Until Leona follows up by saying that they should allow them to take that weight off their shoulders. But as Leona moves his hand in to try to take the titles, Roddy slaps it away. And then Leona gets pissed. He goes to make a move. Ricochet holds him back. And then O'Reilly says that these are the trio titles. There are three of us. There are three of you. But as he is finishing that up, the conglomeration gets blindsided by the Lethal Twist. Jay Lethal, Blake Christian, and Shotty Lee Johnson. And once the beatdown is complete, Ricochet bends over down next to Orange and said that he promised that nobody in demand would lay a finger on the conglomeration. But these guys aren't under the demand. At least not yet. So interesting.
I like Lethal I like Lethal Twist. I do. I needed to think if that was actually their name first. Yeah. I like Lethal Twist. I am a big believer. I have very few rules in wrestling. I'm very open to a lot of things happening and, seeing how things play out. I have a very strict rule, though, when it comes to wrestling. No faction should have more than one tag team. And the reason I say that is because there's only one set of tag titles. So, by definition, the second tag team is just there.
Yeah.
They're inherently lesser.
Or they're forced to be in a trio with somebody else in the faction.
Exactly. And that's fine. If you want to make Lethal Twist the trio of the group, that's fine. But the whole crux of this segment was that the demand were going for the trios titles.
Yeah.
So stressful for me.
I don't see Lethal Twist joining up with the demand. It feels clunky to me.
I agree 100%. It's why I resent the fact that they even teased it.
I think what we have here is an alliance. At best, I don't think it's going to be a full-blown demand thing. I think that Lethal Twist will be helping out for a little while and probably fail to live up to their end of the bargain. I do think what you do end up getting here is you probably end up getting a trios match between the conglomeration and Lethal Twist, and you probably end up getting the demand versus the conglomeration for the titles at Redemption.
I think so too. And it just feels like we're doing this with extra steps, but that's fine because it's good for Lethal Twist.
Yeah.
Good that they're getting TV time. It is really funny to see in real time when Tony Khan is going to be like, these Ring of Honor guys. Let's put them on AEW television.
Yeah, let's slide them up to Collision and see how they do.
Yeah, exactly.
They're doing well over there. They're getting good heat. Like, they're wrestling a lot better. Slide them up to Dynamite.
Yeah, like Shane Taylor Promotions is the other one right now.
Yeah.
They were chilling in Ring of Honor, and now it's like, let's get you on real TV.
it also allows, and we talk about this all the time, it allows Tony to move people in and out, give people time off, allow people to rest up a little bit, you know, make people miss them, especially if they're just working Ring of Honor or just being at home. So it's smart by Tony. And especially when you do it with younger talent, like guys like Johnson and Christian, it gives them early exposure, and then they learn, you know, the system, the business, like how they're doing everything. And then you bump them up and see how they respond to bigger crowds in a bigger spotlight.
And I know you said younger guys, and I know you specifically didn't mention Lethal.
Yeah.
He's
like the mentor in this situation, but yeah.
It does blow my mind that he is only 41.
Yeah, he's been around the block, man.
He really has, and he can still go.
Yep.
He can still go. All right. Next.
You know what's saying in the comics, exposing the business 60 Minutes would be proud. That's a stunt granny. All right. After that, we got back to the Andrade stuff. It was obviously we said it was him versus Jake Doyle, and if Andrade beats Doyle, he gets a shot at the AEW National Championship at Redemption. So, after hitting a Three Amigos, and I'm still going to call it Seeing Shadows. It was just a really good call from Corey Graves, and I'm going to respect him for that. In the corner, Andrade went up top for a frog splash. But as he jumps off, Doyle gets up and just absolutely anti-airs the hell out of Andrade with a big right forearm.
Yep.
Drops him. And Andrade kicks out of the pin attempt. Doyle then gets Andrade up and he throws him off the ropes, but Andrade countered whatever move Doyle was going for. Looked like some sort of sidewalk slam or something.
That's his finish. It's like the black hole slam.
Okay, cool. He countered that with a crucifix roll-up, and Doyle kicked out. The two again get up. Andrade hits Doyle with the Dia de los Muertos, and he quickly follows it up with a DM to pick up the win, and now he moves on to face Davis.
Was this... I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
After the match, Davis comes out onto the ramp, and he's ready to go. He tosses his title aside. He's taking off his jacket, and then Andrade pulls out the Dynamite Diamond ring. He puts it on his finger, and Davis thinks better of it, instead retreating with the defeated Doyle.
I love that it was like Batman holding the kryptonite ring. And it just sent Superman flying.
Yeah. So what were you going to say? I'm sorry.
Is this the first time that Andrade... I didn't know, like I was looking, but I guess I must have looked away for a second. Did Jake go down after the Dia de los Muertos? Did I say that right?
Yeah, Dia de los Muertos.
Dia de los Muertos.
So
did he go...
One dia.
Did he go down after it? Or did Andrade hold him into the finish?
You know, I'd have to look back. It did take place very close to the ropes, so he might have bounced.
I love that idea. I love that being an immediate 1-2.
Yeah.
And it's going to take, maybe that's the way you got to do it to justify it, that it's got to be like off the ropes to make that happen. But I think it's so seamless if you can get that done every time.
Yeah, it could end up being one of those things that gets kind of convoluted, though, you know, like where, the guy's always got to be by the ropes to like set that up. Whereas I think what you end up having here is just a really good spot to protect, assuming he bounced.
Yeah.
Or even if he didn't, even if Andrade just quickly grabbed him, either way, Doyle not going down makes him look really good.
That is it.
You know, it took those big 1-2s consecutively to drop him.
Yeah.
And I think the bounce works even better because that also protects Andrade's move. He was going to go down, but the ropes caught him. And then he comes back up and Andrade finishes him off. So,
all right, you win.
Yeah, because I think Doyle is going to be very well protected. And let me just say, this match was great by both guys. And I am loving watching Doyle.
Dude,
he's been in the AEW a short amount of time. And if you think about it, we've seen him on TV even shorter because he got hurt like 2 days after he showed up.
Yep.
But he moves like a running back and he hits like Ray Lewis. Like, the dude's fucking awesome.
I'm so happy.
It was a nice contrast to Styles in this match. They played off each other great. And he looks like a monster even in defeat.
We've talked at length here on the pod about Tony Khan's style of like almost hazing guys. It's like you're going to go through it, and then when you go through it, the riches are on the other end.
I don't like using the word hazing just because of the connotation, but like he is at this point, especially after some of the previous people who have come in, he is basically going to make you prove your loyalty, or at least not loyalty, prove you're willing to work.
Yes. And I don't think there's anyone I'm as excited about going through the process as I am Doyle, because I think he's such an underrated talent, and we're finally on a bigger stage. We're finally getting to see it. Like, I've been don't got to get into it obviously, but I've been watching him in TNA for years, and he was squandered there. And then when he joined the X division there, I saw truly what his value was and what he could do. And we saw that the anti-aerial offense that he did against Andrade, spectacular. He is a tank who can go against the fast guys. That is a dream talent to have. So I'm really, really rooting for him. I hope really great things for him, and let this process continue. And Andrade is awesome. I know he's not going to win the world title anytime soon, but I would love it in 2027.
Yeah. That seems like a decent timeline, because I think when Will presumably wins at Wembley, after him, you have some combination of Andrade and Jay White.
I think the three most likely guys at some point are Jay White, Andrade, and Fletcher.
Yeah.
And I'd say Kevin Knight is like a year behind on that.
Yeah, I think that all makes sense. I mean, I don't know if you pepper in another MJF reign, or it doesn't seem like Hangman's going to end up doing it any.
I think Swerve is at some point going to get the title back sooner than later. But in terms of new guys, I think that's who we're looking at.
Yeah, maybe Samoa Joe gets another transitional one. You never know with him.
Never count him out.
Yeah. Question from Speaking of timelines, when is Tony Storm coming back?
Has it been 9 months?
No, it's been 3, 4? I don't know. Everyone's speculating. It was supposed to be a year at minimum. So it's going to take a while. Whatever's going up with Tony, we hope she's okay. And I'm going to continue to respect her privacy and not speculate.
I'm not. I want to know what the hell's going on. I just found out that I just found out that Keith Lee is divorced and retired. Nobody fucking said anything.
Not everybody puts their shit on blast, man.
Well, you know what? It ain't about them. My parasocial need to know what's going on demands satiation.
Yeah. Maria, no, that's why James is so upset. Nobody knows what's going on with Tony, which is driving him insane.
I just need an answer. Is she okay? Where is Padme? Is she safe? Is she all right? I don't know.
Maria thinks that Kevin Knight, of the 3 people we just mentioned, should be the first one to be champion. I don't know about you, James. I think he still needs a little more seasoning.
I think I'd agree with you. Yeah. I am all for it happening. You can feel it. You see this perfect clay model, and it just needs some sharpening. It needs to dry.
Yeah,
it needs to dry. So let it happen. I think Fletcher should get it before him, because he is way further along in the process. And I think with guys like Jay White, just fucking do it. It's been too long. Do it.
White and Andrade are ready to go products. You can put the title on them at any time, pretty much, and everyone's going to be like, yeah, that guy is a main event caliber dude, and he is worthy of holding AEW World Championship.
And when you have a guy like Andrade who figuratively caught fire the way he did, where I wasn't expecting this. I'm so happy it's happening, but I wasn't expecting this. So you strike while that iron is hot.
I think he did literally catch fire in that Cody match, but
maybe.
Cody got caught more on fire, though.
Yeah.
Yes, Mia Yim confirmed on the internet yesterday or today or whatever it was that they are at least split. I don't know if she said
officially
full and divorce. So, it is what it is.
You're too nonchalant about
And
this.
just to further enrage James, you know what's saying, speaking of TNA, Dixie Carter is going to save it once again.
Oh, get out of here. Go home. Go home. Nobody wants you here. I mean, I want you here, but nobody needs that right now. I do love, you know, it asked me before. I didn't really get into it. I haven't been able to fully watch the Dark Side of the Ring TNA episodes yet. I've been very busy with work. I'm going to get through it. The things that I've seen, let me say, I fully recognize that there was a point in time where Dixie Carter needed to leave TNA. This story that's being told right now that Dixie Carter was like the worst thing that could have happened to TNA is insane. She put more money into it than anybody else would have at that point. She was a huge reason that it was reaching new heights. The problem is she was listening to the wrong people. She was listening to people who either were out of touch or had agendas. And fully admit, she had no idea how to run a wrestling company. But then she got the worst advice from the worst people. So I will always have a sympathy for Dixie. She was very kind to me as a child. No, I'm being serious.
Yeah, no, I know.
Little James Vincent Gisanti met Dixie Carter, and she was an angel to me. So she's always going to have some unfortunate bias on my part. Fully recognize, though, she should not have run that company as long as she did. So
yeah, I saw somebody say on a Reddit thread today that it was one of those things where she was, you know, a lot like when Bischoff and Hogan and the NWO started in WCW, where it saved the company and brought it to new heights, but it was also eventually the downfall of the company. Yeah. And ironically enough, both of those things were Bischoff and Hogan.
It's really Jesus. It's interesting because, like, Dixie should have taught us that we should not want Tony Khan to be booking AEW. But Tony Khan, being not just the owner and the booker, works because he knows wrestling.
Yeah.
Dixie didn't know wrestling.
Yeah, he's as big of a nerd as anybody. The guy ran forums. He has one of the most famous or infamous forum threads ever. And he was playing the whatever the online simulator is, like, for years. Yep. The guy knows how to book a Fed.
That he does. So yeah, that was my mini rant for now. Apologies.
You know, say for half a second he thought the woman in the Andrade promo package was Scarlett. I was like, I was really looking. I was like, they're only showing her back, and she's tall and blonde. What are we doing here, guys? All right, following Andrade's match, we had the whole Kenny Omega Championship celebration, and then after that, we went backstage to a Jungle Jack Perry promo. So after him resigning last week, he says that, you know, he did that and put pen to paper, which now opens up chapter 2 of his AEW career. Chapter 1, he says, was pretty good. He traveled the world. He got to wrestle some of the best wrestlers on the planet, and he won 4 championships. But he was always right on the verge of breaking through to that next level and could never quite get there. So that's what chapter 2 is all about. On Saturday, he's looking for a match against somebody who was in the same shoes as him and who wants to show the world what true wrestling looks like. And then Jax looks up. He's like, you got that? And the camera pulls out to reveal that Luchasaurus is holding a boom mic. And Luchasaurus kind of grunts at him that they got it. And then Perry leaves, and Luchasaurus just kind of looks around and just goes, cut. And that match ends up being Nick Wayne. So it'll be Jack Perry versus Nick Wayne on Collision. Nick Wayne, who, by the way, is just getting back from Japan. So
it's so weird because I was so hot on that kid for so long, but then he just spent so much time out.
He was hurt for all of that time. He came back very, very quickly, lost to Copeland Cage, and then went back to, I think, Ring of Honor maybe, and then he's been running to Best of Super Juniors like every year. Yeah. So it's weird. Like, he hasn't been on AEW TV too much. He's still working and he's still doing well, but he's only what did he? I know
he's a baby. So like, this is a long term, and quite frankly, it's probably for the best. Yeah. Don't rush him on the main roster stuff. But it was so jarring considering how much time he was involved in main AEW television.
Yeah. You know, it says I distracted James for a few minutes. My job is done.
Bravo, sir.
Thanks.
Bravo.
Okay, so after the Perry segment, we went to our next match, which was Brodito against Aaron Solo and Nick Comoroto. Shout out to Tony getting Aaron Solo on TV after all the publicity he's got. This was mostly a squash match. The highlight was at the beginning of the match, Solo tagged in Comoroto because he was facing off against Bandito. And Brody's like, all right, tag me in. And Bandito's like, no, I got this. So then Nick pressed Bandito. Bandito got out of it. And then Bandito pressed Comoroto and slammed him.
Poor guy.
And then that just led to the end of the whole thing here. Brody came in. They both ran over these guys and then set them up in the middle. And Bandito not only splashed both of them, but pinned both of them for the win.
Guys, I'm going to be back on TV this week. Oh.
So then as they're leaving, they grabbed a couple of Bandito wanted posters from the crowd as they were celebrating. So then we quickly went backstage to a Kyle Fletcher interview before his international title match. And Renee asks Kyle if he feels ready for Commander, and Fletcher's like, of course I am. And then he tries to talk about Takeshita, but he gets interrupted by Brodito as they're coming backstage because they're literally like right at Gorilla. So is it Gorilla in other companies too?
So they called it the go position here.
Yeah, okay.
That's what they called it, but it is Gorilla. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. The honor for that man will go past WWE.
I concur. So Brodito is celebrating, and Brody's like, here, Renee, have a poster. And then Bandito kind of stops. He looks at Fletcher, and he looks down at his title, and he puts his poster into Fletcher's chest.
Good
and
man.
then they walk away.
Good man.
And Fletcher is just furious, and he crumples it up and throws it, and then his music hits, so he has to start heading out for his match.
All right, I'm going to ask you a question, and you need to be honest.
Okay, I will do my best.
Renee looked very peeved that this happened. Is that not heel behavior?
I don't know. Like,
Okay, no. I'm starting to think you're in on the conspiracy. I'm starting to think you are shielding her from these very justified criticisms.
I think you're reading too much into things.
I don't think I am. I don't think I am. She would have been laughing that this happened to Kyle Fletcher if she was a babyface.
I think, well, maybe she was a little upset that she got interrupted. I don't know. Maybe she was just nervous because fucking Don's there, and Don sucks.
Oh, yeah, because I'm nervous when I see Don Callis. Sure.
I would be nervous just because there's always 8 people behind him. Carny piece of shit. Anyway, that leads us to match of the night, Kyle Fletcher versus Commander for the AEW International Championship. Good lucha things.
All right,
so
before we get into the match, Derek, he saw this on AEW Twitter right now. Christian and Adam Copeland issued a challenge to Claudio and Pac for the tag titles at Redemption next Sunday in Montreal. That'll be fun.
dope.
That'll be a fun one. Good one. Oh, wait, hold on. We didn't. There is something I wanted to say about the Brodito stuff. I know we're kind of moving forward.
Okay, well, it's not all over, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw on social media, on Instagram or wherever, Buddy Matthews has indicated that it seems like he's ready to come back.
Yeah, something about the devil on that post or whatever.
I'm calling it now. There's a reason that they're peppering us with a little bit of Brodito again. Buddy Matthews is going to challenge for the ROH title.
That makes a lot of sense.
And Brody's going to be stuck in the middle. I feel it. I do not want him teaming with Buddy again. I absolutely don't. That time is over.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling they're going to have this storyline. And I'm very, very intrigued.
That sounds like a good one. Speaking of Brodito, Fernando thinks that they should win the tag titles again at All In. I think there's just way too many people in front of them right now, especially if some of that new talent comes in. But trust, I do love me some Brodito.
Give Bandito another Ring of Honor title to never, worry about losing. Give him the ROH tag titles.
All right, back to the International Championship match. Good night,
See you
there.
again.
That corny piece of shit, Don Callis, is on commentary. He was flanked by Lance Archer because, of course.
Did you hear Excalibur when he said, oh man, here comes Don Callis. He sounded so annoyed, but it sounded so genuine. And I know he's selling it, but it sounded like, oh, God damn it. Oh, hey, Don. It was so funny.
Yeah, they do a great job of being so upset when Don comes over, except Taz, because Taz is always happy to see him.
Taz is full on heel lately.
Yep.
Full on heel lately. Oh, man.
He's been great. So I'll jump towards the end of this match, which means I'm skipping a lot of great things that happens in this match.
Yes.
But I will skip to the point where Commander hit a Rana from the apron to Fletcher, who was on the floor, and sent Fletcher into the announce table, where he got a nasty abrasion on his ribs.
Yep.
Real nasty. So then Commander grabbed him, got him back into the ring. I think he hit him with a 450, and then Kyle kicked out. Commander then went back up top for the shooting star press, the one he does kind of like running off the ropes and hitting
This
it.
was such a good spot.
So he starts to run. Kyle gets up and drapes himself over the ropes to knock Commander off. And Commander falls, hits his legs off the ropes, bounces back into the ring, flips, lands on his feet, and then hits a 619 onto Fletcher.
Oh, my God.
Like right in the chest, because Fletcher was draped over the top and kicked him right in the chest. Commander then springboard super destroyer, and Fletcher kicks out. I honestly thought that was over for half a second.
This was such a great hot tag moment for a not tag team match.
Yeah.
This was so spectacular. This was such a fun sequence that it made me for a moment forget the fact that Commander is a jobber, unfortunately. He's so good, man.
Yeah.
He's so good.
He wins a lot in CMLL. Like, he's
does.
not a jobber in CMLL. He is a bit of a lucha jobber here, but yeah, he's fucking spectacular. I wish he would get more. I think
me too.
Somebody in the comments said that earlier. It might have been but I agree. Definitely needs more stuff here. Commander,
great stuff.
Then charged at Fletcher after they both got up, but Fletcher countered that with the Michinoku driver. Commander kicked out of that. There's a bit more back and forth, and eventually Commander landed a kick to get a head kick, I believe it was, to get some space, and he went up to the top rope. However, as Commander dove off, Fletcher literally caught him and transitioned right into the brain buster, and he hit that and retained his title.
Disgustingly talented, these two.
Oh my God, dude, easy 5 stars.
Yes.
I'm not even getting into the end yet because I want to talk about this more.
Yep.
This was, like I said, easily match of the night, easily 5 stars. I love this. I want to watch it again. It was so fucking good.
I legitimately, like, I feel bad saying this, but I went into this match like, it's going to be good. We know it's going to be good, but like, why? Why not give him a better, like, more high-profile challenger? And then I watched this match, and I was like, shut the fuck up, James. This was fantastic.
I knew this was going to be good. Commander, he comes to play. And even, like, when they don't give him that high-profile or thing, and, a lot of times maybe he's just kind of jobbing, he's still going to get in some of those really high-flying spots.
Yeah.
Like, especially the rope-running ones.
Yep.
Where people are going to pop. And they're going to kind of start getting invested, even if it ends 2 minutes later. Absolutely. I knew this was going to get a little bit of time, and I knew him with Fletcher were really going to play well off of each other. So I'm like, this is going to be great. Just give them time, and they did. And these two guys fucking deliver.
Over delivered. Very fun match.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, it was. He definitely needs something more in AEW. Stop giving him losses. I concur.
Give him a Ring of Honor title. Give him a TV title. Like, let him win something.
Let him team up more with, like, Mystico and Dorado, like when they come up, because I think they team quite a bit when he's in CMLL. So, give them the trios for a month. Like, then just let them go out there and do flippy shit every week. People would love that.
Yes, please.
Yes. So as is mentioning after the match, Kyle Fletcher went after Commander's mask and tried to rip it off, but my man Kenosuke Takeshita came down to make the save. The two were throwing hands until Takeshita, and I quote here, absolutely starched Fletcher and knocked him on his ass. And then Takeshita picked up the international title and was kind of looking at it, kind of like yelling at Fletcher, like, this is mine. And that distraction allowed for Kazuchika Okada to come running down the ramp, get into the ring, and hit Takeshita with a Rainmaker. Okada then went to pick up the title, but as he's doing so, Fletcher grabbed it, and the two of them, both still holding the title, stood up and got in this really big, very tense stare down. One where I was kind of
a money match.
I know. I was almost kind of expecting Okada to like laughingly be like, "No, that's yours." Ha ha ha. I think he did that at Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
So I was expecting him to do that again, but that chance never came because Bandito decided to come running back out, and Bandito came over and hit a springboard dropkick onto both men to knock them to the floor. And then Bandito got very excited and had Brody hit them with a tope suicida, which allowed Bandito to pick up the title and stand in the ring and hold it over his head. So that then leads to other things, which we'll get to in a few.
Yes. I thought we said it. The match was so much fun.
Oh, so good.
Great match. The after match stuff was good. I'm wondering if there's a reality we actually get Fletcher versus Okada at All In. I think it's kind of soon, but I don't know.
You don't think it would be the triple threat? I think tonight was making it look a lot like it was going to be the triple threat.
Yeah, I could see that. Yes, I do. Yes, I can see that.
Yeah.
Which is still nuts. That's going to be an oh my god match.
Oh, hell yeah.
On a show that has Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay, you have a match that could possibly upstage it.
Yeah. I know we mentioned this last week, but there are so many opportunities for triple threats between the women's title, the men's title, this title. Yep. But I think if you're going to do one, it should be this one.
Yes.
Because the other ones, they have the potential, but they haven't really been written that way.
Yes.
The women, like with Willow just coming back, and she already gets a title shot. So I think the only way you get the three-way is if she wins, which I don't know if she's going to at Redemption. The men's world title, they're booking this for Kenny Will, like straight up. I know you could get MJF back in there, and it would work.
I think we're getting MJF Andrade. I think we're getting Kenny versus Will. I think we're getting MJF versus Andrade.
That makes more sense, especially now that he has the ring.
Exactly. And MJF is supposedly going to be off TV like for the next couple weeks.
Yeah, whatever he's got, hopefully it's quick healing, but it does seem like he needs the rest and recuperation.
Yeah. So
yeah, this one's being written ever since Takeshita won the title.
Yeah.
Is being written for the triple threat.
Yeah.
All right. After this, we had our Kenny interview, and then we got a interview on the stage with the Brawling Birds, who have been drinking around Boston. And Renee's like, "Hey, it looks like the Birds are back," and they're like, "Yeah, we're out. We're drinking in Boston." They're playing to the crowd, and then they cried about England losing in the World Cup today, which
the crowd did not give a shit.
Oh, well, it's Boston.
Yeah,
mostly Irish, and I believe they would all join me in doing this. They lost again. It's not coming home. Sucks. Oh, it's never not funny when they lose. Oh, okay.
Oh my god. So who are the final four? It's
no, that was the final four. The finals are now on Sunday.
Sunday, yeah.
England lost to Argentina today, and the French, which also lost to España yesterday. So it'll be Spain versus Argentina on Sunday, and then you get the French-English battle, 100 Years War rematch for third place on Saturday.
Oh, man.
Damn, that is funny. Okay, anyway, after all of that, Jamie then says, though, that and I'm quoting here, the two Brits with the tits won't ever let the AEW sickos down. And then Windsor says, with Wembley on the horizon, they're out to prove they're the best tag team in AEW. And then Jamie invites everyone to go to the pub. First round's on them, and they seemingly took Renee with them. I don't know
She looks swept up in the moment.
That does happen. Let's see. Tyler's got breaking news for AEW, so let us know when you get it, and we'll put it up there.
Yeah.
You know it, bonk. Maria, you're wrong about the World Cup. All right. Moving on.
So much just happened.
All right. After that, we had the Jericho and Ciampa promos we kind of mentioned earlier. Jericho did it kind of cool, though. He had this big light behind him, so you couldn't really see him.
No, there's nothing cool about this.
It was kind of a decent setup with what came after.
Whatever.
Your opinion. Jericho talked about his loss to Ciampa last week, saying he liked that Ciampa left him bloodied and battered. So he proposed that they do it again at Redemption, where Ciampa can bring the pain, and he'll bring the pain maker, and he turns in front of the light to reveal the makeup, and he put on the hat. And then we cut to Ciampa, who, as we mentioned, got a big pop because they're in Boston, who says that he proved last week that he was indeed better than Chris Jericho. And at Redemption, we'll find out if the pain maker is better than the Psycho Killer. But before we get there, he's got one more night in his hometown, and he challenges anyone who wants to make a name for themselves while the Painmaker is watching. Okay. After that, we had Darby Allin versus Brian Cage. I will just first note here, Darby bouncing off somebody when he does the Tope Suicida will never not be funny.
Yep. And it's even better when it's Cage.
Yes. I also don't know how Darby survived this match because Cage literally threw him head first off the post.
Yep.
At least it looked like he did that. Literally off the ramp, too. So I don't know how Darby didn't get knocked out, let alone get a concussion.
Not to be a wrestling cliche, but that he got ragdolled.
Yeah. But he turned it around pretty quickly after that because the stairs, which had been moved, Cage was standing on them, and Darby was able to get down and pull his legs out, and Cage fell flat on his back onto the steps. And then Darby quickly scrambled up top, hit a coffin drop onto Cage on the steps, and then got back to the ring. Cage barely beat the 10 count, but as he was getting back in, a lot of his matches in this title reign, Darby scrambled up to the top and met him there with a coffin drop and then hit his second one to pick up the win.
I do like this aspect of him hitting that finish. Like he's taken a move, like high flying moves I love them, but there's always that level of course, look at this setup. He's managed to find a way to make it pop up out of nowhere. So lots of respect for that.
All right, cool. Yeah, this match was good. You know, it wasn't it was, I don't want to say typical Darby versus big guy match, but I feel like we've seen Darby versus Cage before, and it was still good, but it didn't feel new. So it didn't feel new. So solid job out of them. It sets up Darby versus Knight next week for the title. And yeah, no, that is what it is.
No, I agree. Not bad at all, but it was a match on the show.
Yeah. Tyler coming in to remind us that AEW has confirmed Full Gear will take place in Phoenix in November. So be sure to check that stuff out. And he's maybe going to the pay-per-view. So
good. Enjoy it.
Yeah, they're a whole lot of fun. There's some of the best money you could spend going to wrestling. I've never been disappointed in going with the wrestling going to an AEW pay-per-view when I was at World's End 2023. Or whatever year was when MJF lost the title.
Yeah. Wow.
The National Coliseum, on the other hand, that sucks. I'll never let them live that down. I was saying it looked like his head was real itchy. Ouch, ouch. Yeah, I don't know how Darby survived that.
Yeah.
Okay. Following that, we went backstage to an irate Kyle Fletcher with Okada just kind of behind him. And he was furious that Brodito sucked their noses in his and the family's business. And he says he's not afraid of anybody and will defend the title against anybody. Note. So that he can become the greatest international champion of all time. Second note.
Yep.
So he wants Bandito at Redemption for the first time ever for the international title. That then led to commercial, and we came back with Kevin Knight and that carny piece of shit Don Callis getting a backstage interview with Renee. So I guess she did escape the birds.
Oh no, I have to go drinking. I'm a professional.
She asked Knight about not only getting a shot at the AEW World Championship, but having to also defend his TNC Championship next week, saying it's a lot on his plate. Don cuts in to say that Kevin can handle whatever's on his plate, before immediately turning his attention to Kenny Omega, saying that Kenny was trying to be him and play mind games in his first promo as champion, but Kevin's too smart for that. And oh, woe is Kenny. Don gave him his first title win. He needs to suck it up, Buttercup, because everything good Kenny has ever had has come from Don. Now, if Jet wants to be a two-belt man, he needs to take care of that punk, in reference to Darby. So then Don walks away, and as he does so, Speedball Mike Bailey walks up, and Renee gets really nervous, but he's like, look, I'm just here to talk.
Why was she so nervous?
I'm assuming she was probably assuming a fight.
Yeah.
Especially after the conglomeration got jumped earlier. She was very concerned for them. And she, not only that, you know, she's friends with them, but she was like stuck in the middle of that. Usually she runs away.
Yeah.
Like they were in a corner. She couldn't.
She had some PTSD here.
Yeah, she was a little jumpy tonight, I think, because of that. Good job with it. Anyway, Speedball says tonight that the facade he is putting up to fit in with the Don Callis family isn't working. And he hopes that Knight takes Kenny advice. And both he and the people who love Knight enough, he and the people love Knight enough, that when he is ready to go back to being himself, they'll forgive him. Knight says he doesn't need Speedball's love, and he tells him to leave him be.
It is sweet. They're not letting go of their friend.
Yeah. Tyler's saying he went to Double or Nothing in Arizona, and I'm assuming he had a great time. So
I would really hope so.
Yeah. All right. This leads to our main event of the evening, which is insane that we're doing this last, but the way things were ordered, which is Willow Nightingale, Hyan and Maya World against Mercedes Moné and Divine Dominion being my freaking thing corrected Bayne to maybe. Megan Bayne and Lena Kross. Megan, maybe? I will jump to the end here just in the time. Willow hit a pounce on Bayne to knock her out of the ring. But as Bayne was going off the ropes, Mercedes tagged herself in blind. So then Moné got in the ring and she tossed Willow out. But Hyan, who was a legal woman, got back up and surprised Moné with a jackknife cover and forced Mercedes to kick out. The two women then hit the ropes, and Hyan hit a massive spear.
Yeah,
I thought we had a chance here. Mercedes barely kicks out again. Hyan then got in some reverse double hooks, but Mercedes was able to counter that and quickly got Hyan on her back, setting her up to hit the Moné Maker for the dub. So this match was good. It really picked up those last,
it did.
5 or so minutes, especially when all the chaos began. Everyone taking the sequence leading up to what I just read, where everyone started taking everyone out, was really, really good. So I think it took them a minute. This was a very long episode. I think the crowd was kind of getting tired, but outside of chanting for Mercedes. But they really started winning the back at the end, and you ended up with a very good finish.
No, I'd agree. You also have to look at the women involved, too. Maya World is obviously getting more acquainted on a TV setting. You know, she has a lot of great will, great will coming out of the Owen. Hyan does not have nearly as much TV time.
Yeah, because mostly they were just tagging together. So Maya getting thrown in the Owen and not only showing up but showing out in that tournament has given her a bit of a higher profile than Hyan. And also, she's just a lot more television experience, especially in one-on-ones.
Yes. So all that's to say that everyone had a part to play. And I love Megan Bayne, but she's definitely a hot tag kind of wrestler. And you don't want to go too all out between Mercedes and Willow. You know, you got to save that for what will absolutely be the all-in main event for the women. I feel terrible for Tekla. I feel fucking terrible for Tekla.
You think she's going to lose, Tekla?
I think she's going to lose to Willow.
Oh, man. I hope not, because I really do think, as big of a match as Willow Mercedes is, I think Tekla Mercedes is just as big, and that gives you a European in the match, which I think the British fans would probably, cheer for her at least a little bit. And Tekla's just so damn over now. I just don't see you killing that momentum before Double or Nothing. Or before All In.
See, I agree with you. But the problem is, all accounts, Willow was going to win the Owen. And if Willow was going to win the Owen, I can't imagine she would have lost to Tekla at All In. So if you just set that up for her to win now and then set up Willow versus Mercedes, I don't know who wins that match. We're in this new reality of everything. But I think Willow takes it. I think Willow's taking it.
Yeah. I mean, that does kind of lead to the confusion of Willow does Willow just get a short title reign and Mercedes wins the title at All In?
It's a weird place to be.
I would almost rather have Willow lose at
I would too.
And then get it in a more prominent position.
Yes, but I also wouldn't have her take the title off of Mercedes.
Doesn't have to be her,
For sure. But I think Mercedes is going to get a healthy little run with the belt. I don't think she's going to have it nearly as long as she held the TBS title. Yeah. But I think she is going to get a healthy little run with this belt.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting. I'm curious to see what Tony does because obviously I think he has a lot more information than us in terms of the injuries and how long everyone's going to be out. But it does seem like there was either a miscommunication or a just a misdiagnosis or something with Willow, because her not only being out of the Owen but dropping the TBS title seemed
still so dumb.
It felt weird, especially considering when she got back. So it feels like something changed between Willow getting hurt and Willow coming back with Willow.
Yeah.
So that I wonder if Tony shifted all of his, booking around thinking Willow is going to be out for an extended period of time, or maybe not necessarily extended, but at least long enough where she had to drop the title and wasn't going to be in the Owen. And then all of a sudden that changed. Does he change it again, or does he stick with what he probably already has? And I think we will pretty much see what that answer is by who wins at Redemption.
Yeah. I think no matter what, I'm going to feel bad for the loser in this one. Whether it's Tekla or Willow, like both of those women feel like they should be at All In.
Yeah. And we've seen a lot. Tony is almost more willing to do women's, multi-women matches as opposed to the men's for the titles. So that's why I'm like, you can definitely do this three-way here at All In. But if you're going to do it there and the international,
I know it's tough.
Slightly redundant. I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
But I know people would be like, oh, why are you doing two of those?
Two triple threats? Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Maria saying about the match, of course we won. And of course the people are starting to love us. They always have. They just like to pretend not to like us. I will remind everybody that Mercedes is from Massachusetts, and I think she's from Boston, and they were in Boston tonight. So she was going to get a serious pop, which is why she main evented.
Yeah.
They put her, in her hometown. Maria also says it doesn't matter who we get it All In. And you might be right. It really might not matter. I still think since she came back, I was just like, okay, Mercedes is winning the Owen, winning the title in Wembley. Like, I think that's your move. Heel or face. It agrees with me that he thinks Tekla's going to keep it until Mercedes is ready to take it. And Maria saying that Willow was scared to face us at the Owen and took a shortcut to the women's championship match. Willow is not a good person.
Jesus
sweet
Christ.
Smile gimmick is a sham.
What's happening?
Still real to Maria.
It's going to be so fun. Because I'm sure you've seen all the teases that Mercedes has been doing online about Bayley coming to AEW.
Yeah.
It's going to be nuts to have Willow and Bayley in the same company at the same time. But somehow it's all going to be about Mercedes. It's going to be nuts.
It's going to be weirder to see Willow and Bayley be in the same company at the same time. And I don't know. I don't know. It really depends on how Bayley comes into the company, whether she's like heel or face. I would kind of imagine she's face, but I need at least one Bayley Willow hug in my life.
They would be like the obvious temptation is Bayley and Mercedes going for the tag titles.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Willow and Bayley going for the tag titles is like the second coming of the Mega Powers.
Just, the super nice version.
Yes. And no infidelity being teased at all.
Yeah. Hogan was easily the heel in that, by the way.
Yes. As he was in most things.
Yeah. Fucking Bobby Heenan was always right.
Yep. Should have listened to Bobby.
Yep. Is Bayley coming? Okay, Mercedes keeps teasing that Bayley is going to come to AEW. She posted a picture, it was obviously photoshopped, of her with the title, the Women's World Championship, on a I want to say it was a Wrestle Dream graphic.
It was Wrestle Dream in Bayley's hometown. Yes,
going against Bayley in San Jose. And then after the promo with Lyra on Monday, Mercedes posted an hourglass, starting to run out of time. So there's a lot of speculation that Bayley is going over to AEW. There's a lot of speculation that this might be her last feud and she puts Lyra over on her way out, which, I mean, if it is, I hope Bayley does do that. And I'm 88% sure Bayley absolutely would.
Yeah.
So we're all just guessing here, but it's fun to speculate sometimes.
No matter what, Bayley, no matter where she signs, this woman is just guaranteed she's making more money on this contract.
Yeah.
So nothing could change. She could stay with WWE. I think Mercedes just made sure her friend got the bag.
Yeah. I think also a lot of people, too, were reading a lot into what happened to her at WrestleMania a few years ago.
Yeah.
And a lot into her CBV interview where she was very clearly disappointed with that. Yeah. And some people just think that Bayley has realized she's kind of hit a ceiling in AEW, or excuse me, in WWE at the moment. And AEW offers a lot more new and a lot more fun stuff she can do.
A lot more creative freedom.
Yeah, that as well. But just, in terms of like when you've been for a company, with a company for so long and you've done everything, sometimes you yearn to do other stuff. And that's part of the reason why Adam Copeland said he left and came to AEW. He was like, I felt like I kind of did everything I wanted to do in WWE. This whole new crop of talent I've never faced before in AEW. That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm going to go do that. Plus, I get to hang out with Christian again.
I think it was more Christian than the former, but yes, I agree.
A little bit of both. So I can see why the speculation is a brewing. And
that we all just want her out of WWE. I want her out of WWE.
Oh, so do I. Yeah, and Mercedes continues to throw gasoline on the fire.
Yes.
So Moné versus Bayley incoming. Absolutely, Tyler.
Happy to see it.
Yes. Also, Tyler, in answer to your comment here about Discord server for the for the pod and the chat and everybody, we've discussed it. It's one of those things like is made in the backlog, and hopefully we can get that set up sooner or later.
And we're happy to discuss that with you. We're happy so we'll talk. We'll talk for sure.
Yeah. Saying she realized she can call people bitches in AEW. That's why she's coming.
It's ding dong, hello, bitch.
Ding dong, hello, bitches.
She and fucking Okada are gonna have so much fun.
Oh god. All right, kids. That was Dynamite. I don't, James. I don't know about you. This felt very promo heavy. Maybe it was just because of the Kenny one that was very long. I'm gonna actually have to check the actual time. I had to pause a lot to make sure I got a lot of the stuff down. So it took me like almost 25 minutes to watch the whole thing. So it's realistically closer to 15. But that's a long promo for AEW. And between that, a lot of backstage segments, a lot of interviews. They were matches, but it didn't feel as wrestling heavy as it usually did. That being said, I thought the matches were good, and obviously you have the big standout with Fletcher and Commander.
Yes, you are absolutely right. This was less of a wrestling show. This was more of a promo show. But we got to remember, we're coming off of what many people are calling an all-timer Dynamite last week.
Yeah.
And we have a pay-per-view next Sunday that we got to book matches for. How many matches were booked tonight for this pay-per-view?
A lot, 5 or 6.
Yeah. So you got to sometimes put up with it to move things along. It's always nice when you're able to strike a nice balance, but they needed to get a lot done in a very short amount of time. So I'm willing to give him some grace on it. And I'm not going to say no to a Kenny Omega championship celebration.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. And I just counted. There were 6 matches. Granted, one of them was the Brodito match. So if you want to call that 5.5.
Yeah.
Like, fair. But I think you're right. They did such a good job of setting everything up. Is Redemption only in 2 weeks? Yeah, I guess
it's next Sunday. It's a week and a half.
Yeah.
It's a week and a half from now.
Man, it's so fast.
Yeah.
So
it's why it's so interesting that they had Kenny win the title when he did. Because all reports, that was the original plan. He was going to win the title at Redemption.
Yeah,
so,
well, again, that might have to do with MJF's injury or speculated injuries. And I think also the other thing, too, is they built up the beach break, right?
Yeah.
And that was one thing when you were only having a pay-per-view, not only every, they were having them quarterly, but then it kind of became every 2 months, and you can kind of split the difference with something like Beach Break. Now you're splitting up a 4-week time frame into 2-week chunks. It's very different, and I think you're right. I think they kind of had to not hit the fast forward button, but like they had to hit like a let's get shit done button. To make sure that warp speed button, I think, is more the word here, to really just make sure all of these matches got made, or at least 90% of them got made, so that they can not only continue selling tickets for the pay-per-view, as people know what a lot more of the matches are, but continuing just to build and then finish setting everything up in the next 3 episodes of television they have before Sunday. All right. And on that note, I'd like to thank everyone so much for watching us here at the Markdown Podcast. We'd appreciate it if you liked and subscribe. If you liked the video, then let us know that you're enjoying what we're doing here on the show, and we can keep doing it. Also, you can leave comments if you guys have suggestions or anything, stuff you guys like to see. We always love to hear from you guys and enjoy the feedback. And if you subscribe here to the channel, you can continue to get all the great stuff here on the pod. James, we got the Gym Pack Zone tomorrow. I know you've been everywhere, man.
Yeah,
but
it's been an exhausting few weeks. I am back. We should be very good for Gym Pack tomorrow. I will be at Fanatics Fest tomorrow and this whole weekend. So I'm hoping to have some fun coverage for WWE, for wrestling in general. But yes, the plan is to do Gym Pack tomorrow.
All right, awesome. So be sure to subscribe for that. Obviously, we'll be back here next week for Dynamite, and we'll do our best to check in on WWE as we get closer to SummerSlam as well. If you want to check us out on social media stuff, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Blue Sky, check those links out in the description below here on YouTube. Otherwise, if you're watching us over on Facebook or somehow somewhere else, you can check us out on Twitter at @marketdown_pod. Instagram is @marketdownpod. YouTube.com/@marketdownpod or /marketdown3665. Marketdownpod.bsky.social over on the Blue Sky, or just search Marketdown Podcast on any of your platforms. You should find us. If not, let us know. We'll make an account so we can chop it up with you there. As James mentioned, he's going to be at Fanatics Fest. I imagine Matt will be too. So be sure to hit the Instagram up for a lot of good content from those places. And Matt has, I think, the next Progress thing coming up as well. Or excuse me, Produce.
Produce. Yeah, tomorrow is Volume 2 of Produce. Our boys, the Main Event, are going to be there. It's looking to be a really fun show, as a Ring of Honor title will be on the line as Lee Moriarty defends the Pure title against Jonathan Gresham in the Main Event.
Oh, that sounds pretty awesome. So
that it does.
Yeah, so Matt will probably be there as well. So check out the Instagram so you can catch up with all that stuff. And we should be getting out our interview with the head of Produce within the next 24 hours. So we can help lead into that show. All right, James, any final things before we get out of here?
New York is the best state.
Best city, best state. No doubt. Even though it is orange outside.
We love all of you, but concrete jungle, baby. Concrete jungle.
Yeah, seriously though, for those of you up here in the Northeast, be careful going outside, and anybody getting affected by those wildfires, we hope you guys stay safe.
Yeah, everybody be safe. Take care. Wear your masks if you need to. Stay indoors if you need to. Do what you got to do.
Yeah, between the fires and the heat, it's brutal out there, but still no place in the world I'd rather be than New York City. All right. So for James, and keep an eye out for the lettuce too. All right. For James Asante, my name is Nick Cummings. Thank you so much for watching us here at the Market Down Podcast. Let's see if anybody can guess what jersey I was wearing tonight. Have a good one, everyone.